Usually it is
Okay.
15 minutes. All right, so I think we're live.
That's
Let me
cool.
see if it's live on our platform. Um, all right, first time we are doing it. Yeah, I think we are live, guys.
Are
Yeah,
we? Nice.
it's
That's
official,
cool.
and let's see if it's live on Twitter. First time we do it. Um,
Yeah, we are
let's
live.
see.
I see.
We
I
are
see myself.
live.
It's so weird.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
weird. I'll turn out my phone. That's probably good.
Okay. That's cool. You can kind of see ourselves live, and we can see also how many people are viewing. So we have 2 views there. That's cool.
Hi, you too.
All right, guys. So here we go. All right. So we are live, friends. We are live. I'm Mick Marucci, co-founder and CEO of Geyser, and I'm also the co-host of the Geyser podcast, which is a time, a place where we invite Bitcoin builders, creators, creatives to talk about their crowdfunding campaigns that are now live on Geyser.fund. And with the Geyser podcast, we're really trying to give them a voice to these creators, and really, bringing them to you to talk about their stories. So if you're listening from Fountain as well, we will put this up on Fountain, and you can support directly from there. You can support us from Twitter, from their and obviously from their project on Geyser if you visit their Twitter profile. So today with us we have Marcel and Leah. So they're the creators of the Bitcoin Block Munich, which is a Bitcoin experience in a shopping mall. And basically, it's a place where people can network, can connect, can make friends, can sip coffee, maybe even have a beer or two, and most importantly, learn about Bitcoin. It's really a place for educational content focused just on Bitcoin. So, I want to welcome you guys, Marcel and Leah. Welcome to the show. Our first
Thank
live,
you.
by the way.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So good to have you here. So, how we usually like to just start off is by getting your background. So I'm curious to hear about, first of all, like what was your background before Bitcoin? What did you guys do, and how did you guys discover Bitcoin, or how did Bitcoin discover you?
Leah,
That's
please go on. Yeah,
Yeah.
start.
Okay.
Let's start.
So I'll start. I've been a midwife for several years now, 15 years, I guess. And I'm still a midwife, and I think I'll keep doing this my whole life. But Bitcoin came to my life in 2020 in summer. A friend of ours told us about Bitcoin, I think, over the course of 5 years. And we always told him that we are not interested in gambling or speculation or anything like that. And we don't like banks. And then in summer of 2020, he told us to sit down and listen to him.
Hmm,
And we started listening.
interesting.
My husband, Patrick, who is co-host of Zeitsprung Bitcoin with me, he started reading, like, I think 20 books over the course of 2 weeks. And he
Wow.
said, okay, that's something here. Let's check it out more. And yeah, that was our start. So we've been in the rabbit hole for 2.5 years now. We love it more every day. And especially during the bear market, we feel that Bitcoin is such an important tool to make the world a little more just.
Nice.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. That's a really
Yeah.
interesting backstory. Yeah, Marcel.
Yeah. So in my case, I mean, I got asked this question the last couple of months a lot of times, and what I realized is I dived more into the past actually, and realizing, wait a minute, I heard Bitcoin way before 2017 when I bought it the first time. I just want to share this because it's interesting, I think, to let people know or also think about their stories. For example, in my case, I was like 14 years old and read a book in school about the dark net. deep web, darknet, whatever you might call it. And then there were the first lines about Bitcoin, and I wondered why I never remembered myself of reading that after in 2017, because it was like so, I don't know, it was so clear for me as a, back then I was a gamer, to think about internet money. You know, I was like, of course you can buy stuff with a native digital currency. So I think that was a reason why I didn't put so much importance to the time when I was reading about it. And this was also the time when I read about Silk Road and stuff like that. So I was really biased about Bitcoin in a way, while also not taking it seriously. And so I think there was a first seed in my mind to were aware of it in 2014 or something. And then the whole thing started with, when, of course, like when you start to buy, you start to ask yourself, are you just a gambler and an investor, or do you want to know what you're buying? And from there in 2017, I tried to understand blockchain, but really, I didn't get it. Really, nothing actually. And and in 2020, my thing was like, I'm gonna hodl no matter what, and if the price comes back on like to 10,000 or 20,000 again, then I'm gonna need to pay attention, because then it's something more than just a bubble. And that happened in 2020, and so at the same time, I started to dive into it really a lot. Especially since university was at home during COVID. So I was just sitting at home the whole time, and was not so exciting to talk to black screens about philosophy. So I could had this great opportunity to apply my philosophical thought frameworks on a new topic, and just dive into it and realize like, oh, wait a second, like no one really can tell what Bitcoin is, because it's so much. And that was something really exciting, to be honest. And that's how I came into this whole thing.
Wow. That's super interesting, Marcel. And I can actually relate with you quite a bit, because I studied anthropology. Anthropology and philosophy kind of have a lot of points of contact. So I'm curious to hear from you how your philosophical background helped you or hindered you from understanding Bitcoin.
So I think in the first place, before I put time into it, it was hindering in the sense that philosophy, at least in my university, I never had any touch points with money. So the whole money topic was a personal interest out of my finances, which I wanted to plan a little better. But the moment I dived more into it, philosophy was really helpful in the sense that it was a framework to think. That's always how I see it. It's not necessarily that I know so much more. Actually, like that's the whole joke about it. You just realize what you don't know, but then you start to ask certain questions. And the most the best example I can give to make other people realize what's the point of philosophy here, in my case at least, is I was reading Aristotle for 5 years. I read Metaphysics, the whole book, 250 pages or something, and I didn't understand anything. So I was reading it in a group with my professors, and there was nothing to understand. So it was so hard, because like I don't know the words so really and the concepts behind it. And what it taught me is, how do you approach a topic where you don't have a clue? So the technique was to reading it over and over again. And that's what I did basically with this whole, with this whole Bitcoin, and in the early months also, of course, with the blockchain topics. Okay, so I was reading about blockchain projects and how this blockchain is better than this. So I needed to understand IT and stuff like that. And then it kind of like, at some point I was like, okay, now I can grasp it a little bit more. So I think it's more the method I was learning in my university that helped me here. Yeah.
That's super interesting. And I think I can relate that. And anthropology is similar, because it's all about how do you understand a different world, a different point of view, when you basically encounter the other, right? And how do you make sense of something that is completely foreign to you? So yeah, it's interesting.
And Leah, for example, I'm also curious actually, like how was your education pathway through it? Like what was your method to learn about it?
Yeah, it's really funny because I really love to dive deep into topics. I think it was my thing like from being a child to really wanting to understand different stuff that is not common. And through this I learned a lot that is like, it's not mainstream knowledge. And I think that is what got me here, that it's something so different. And it makes me curious every day. And I really, I'm a little sad that I did not pay more attention in school to physics and chemistry and such topics, because I think I would know more now for understanding the energy market a little better. But I do get a lot of the stuff with energy and Bitcoin, but I really want to know more. And that is something that's so fantastic about Bitcoin. It really makes me want to know more each and every day.
That's interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. It's almost like you're making sense of the world from fresh eyes, right?
And you can ask yourself always, what was first, the hen or the egg here? It's
right.
It's everything is in movement, nothing is set. And we don't know. It's the unknown here, and we all are on our trip to find out more. It's like a long trip we're taking here.
A journey, yeah, definitely.
Interesting. And I've seen a lot of Bitcoiners talk about Bitcoin as being this almost like a reset button to a lot of different things. That's one analogy. Another analogy is seeing Bitcoin as this truth machine, as a sort of uncorruptible system that is just true and cannot be can be attacked, but unsuccessfully. It's always sort of maintains its truth. And so, as something that is true, versus a world in which money, this sort of layer of society that is quite corrupted, and we're creating this new layer of society with this true money that is uncorruptible. What does it mean for everything on top of society? What kind of a society can we create that is that right? And the implication is that the emergent properties of the system will look very different. I think Jeff Booth said this on several different occasions, and I think it's quite interesting. And I think.
And I didn't have any idea that our society is based on such a sick system, and how we can change our society to a better one. And that is obviously what we are hoping for here. And
absolutely.
And I think what we're creating here I don't know if we already want to talk about our project that we are building, but sure, on the one hand, we have this thing that we are creating, like really physical. It's a place where we can meet and talk to people, to Bitcoiners, I want to say, because I think everybody is gonna be a Bitcoiner someday. So we just want to help them to find their way into Bitcoin. But on the other hand, we have this vision that we are only building the first block here, and we want to have more blocks all over the world. It should be decentralized, and the community is building this. It's not us, it's the community.
It's also not possible just us like creating a whole network of physical blocks, so to say. So if we see each space we're creating as a block, what our vision is to create a physical blockchain. And it was really great to talk with Patrick and Lea about this idea, because we realized there are many analogies you can draw between what we're doing now with this whole space stuff and what Bitcoin itself is. And as we know, Bitcoin blockchain has some information in each block, and that's also our approach. So we want to document, and we are also doing it already, document all the struggles and challenges with this project to make it actually easier for the next block to be mined or created, instead of more difficult like it's in the blockchain with the rising hash rate. But what's similar is the information we are putting into our thing. We're wrapping that up and try to share it with the world afterwards. To really because I think that's the key message what we are experiencing here. It's so hard to create a physical Bitcoin shop. Why? And or space, we don't not just doing a shop. I mean, because we have the whole legacy system which is having an eye on that, so they're all critical about it. They're like, what is Bitcoin? What? Weapons, drugs, and you want to send some packages with, no, it's not. That's not that. It's much more, and it's especially
and we're just normal people.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're taking care of other women after birth, and I'm reading books and writing. No, but
very dangerous things, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
Creating new life, helping create new life, and helping people think. Sounds very suspicious.
Yes, it is actually. Yeah, and how do we mine this first block? By proof of work. What we're doing here is proof of work. We are all working our asses off to make this real.
Right.
And we're working without having any reward at the moment. We don't know if there's any reward. It's just that we have this big idea, and actually people are stepping in, and that's so great.
All right,
Marcel, maybe yeah.
This is super interesting, but I feel like maybe a lot of people, we maybe, and I'm seeing 87 views on Twitter. So, hey, everyone, good to see you. But basically, so tell us about it. You mentioned the idea. So tell us about the idea. What is the idea, and how did it come up, and what problem is it solving?
Yeah. Marcel. So, okay. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. I mean, how did we came up? I mean, from my side, I can only say I went to Miami last year, 22. I was really impressed by the Bitcoin space and to meet real Bitcoiners. Who are the people behind the screens? Who are the people behind the frog pics and the laser eyes? And at some point, I was really stunned. I was like, wow, that's so worth to get in touch with them and to get to meet people with the same mindset who are doing all kinds of different things. And I also realized, okay, there's no way to summarize what the Bitcoin community is. Some people try to explain it with broken shoes, shoes that you're wearing for a long time, or others say people who don't trust the government. But in my experience, it's like, no, it's so hard to really to put it in a box who a Bitcoiner is, what's the unifying element. And so I was really inspired trying to find something like that in Munich. And then I was checking out the whole Bitcoin Munich community and found some meetups and some events, and it was really interesting to meet them. I was excited. I was really surprised by the competence which is also in the city. So we have some OGs here which are in Bitcoin since 2011, and I'm like, wow, I thought these guys are in, I don't know, USA or something. So it was cool to see that. And a fun fact is also the first meetup where we are meeting also many times, the Munich meetup. It was founded in 2009 from what I heard, and which is insane if you think about it. It's basically right after Satoshi and came up with this whole thing. And so I was really happy that we have stuff. But what kind of strived me was why don't we have a physical constant space where we can always go? It's always the same space. It's not just a meetup for 2 hours or 3. It's more and more constant. And so I had different approaches. I talked to crypto guys also here in Munich because I didn't know anyone more I didn't know so many Bitcoiners at that point. And then I talked with them. We tried to build something. I was open to the idea in the beginning, but then it was like proof of stake mentality in the end, So people from the crypto space, they're like, okay, where's the money? How do we do the money? How do we make money? Before that, I'm not going to touch anything. And I was like, well, can't we just try it? Can't we just try it? And And then at some point, luckily over Falk is a guy I know here from Munich, from some events, and he helped me to get in touch with the center manager from this shopping mall. And then I met him for 4 to 5 months each month, and conceptualizing some ideas about how we could do it for a longer amount of time. But the problem was always, okay, where does the money come from? And really the last day when I was like, okay, I'm not going to do it anymore. Like they want to talk about 90% about blockchain stuff and NFTs, but they're not putting the work into it. So why should I talk about it? Okay, I'm interested in it. I want to criticize it and reflect it, but I don't want to make an NFT event. I want to talk about Bitcoin and how special it is for society. And then I was really like, okay, guys, I'm going to stop. These are the problems. And if we're not solving them, I'm going to stop. Yeah, and then my colleague from Bitcoin for Good, Philip, he motivated me to formulate a tweet, asked the Twitter Bitcoin community. I did that, and then Leah and Patrick were one of the first people who were like, okay, when call, when do we meet? And we instantly met, and then they just like put all their time in it, and without them, I couldn't have done what we are having now. Like the whole idea also of making it not just in Munich, but in the whole world, that really happened in their kitchen. And so I think that's like kind of like my story, how it became real more and more. And and
Right.
later we can go into the details. But
so I would love to know more about you mentioned going from Munich to the whole world. That I'd love to get there, but before we get there, so by the way, I love that idea, sort of the idea that you had these local meetups, but you saw the potential to do something a little bit more grand that connected with the wider community, with the wider no coiner as well.
Yes.
And also that provided a lot of these experiences, right? So can you tell us more about that? What type of experiences you mentioned? Drinking, learning. If you could mention a bit of that.
Yeah, Leah, I would also, you please add something if I forget something. But so the thing is, what I realized with the meetups is, I think for someone who's not extremely excited about Bitcoin, it might be weird to step into these meetups. And I think the interest in Bitcoin is really what holds this whole thing so together. And that's the exciting part. And it's amazing to see so many different people. But I find it hard to learn about, like to get in touch with a pre-coiner, someone who just heard about it and is not excited. I don't know if that's something for him. And so I just wanted to find like something, like to create something which is transparent, open, and gets in touch with the public who does not have time to go on Twitter and read this whole things and download the white paper or listen to podcasts. Because there are a lot of people who already heard about Bitcoin and they don't have a clue, and they also don't know where to start, and they don't even know that they want to know about it. So I think that's the special thing here, that we have the ability to strive adoption much more than anything else we ever had here, because we are in a shopping mall in the city of Munich, one of the richest cities in Germany, which, I don't know, you can make for yourself out of it what you want, what that means. It's just a fact, maybe it means, okay, we can reach some politicians maybe who are starting to be open for it. Maybe it means we can impact I don't know, a company which suddenly starts to accept it because we are building something credible. What I mean by that is something which is not seen as something ridiculous, but actually as something professional or also competent about this topic, and something that is really honestly, intellectual honesty, like striving with critical mindset onto this topic, but with an optimism which we don't find right now in other places about Bitcoin. Usually politics and media is always bad about Bitcoin, and that's the chance we have here. Yeah,
and I think a lot of people are hindered by fear and by struggle of everyday's life, especially with the inflation these days. And that holds people back from listening to podcasts, from taking a book and just reading a little bit and maybe tap your toe into the topic, and then from there you can start doing more. But with the physical Bitcoin space, what we're doing is we take back the fear of the people. We bring it to them. Bitcoin. Somebody wrote in on our Twitter account. No, it was Painting Bitcoin.
All right.
He said Bitcoin to them all, but it's the same as Bitcoin to them all, and that is what we're doing here.
Oh, it's so wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
I love that. Bitcoin to them all. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's so cool, and it's kind of cool to think about Bitcoin as being this sort of digital organism, right? That like born in cyberspace and now finding its way out into the physical meat space, right? It's very kind of interesting, and but it's almost a requirement. Like we have to enter this physical realm to make Bitcoin more relatable, more approachable, not this sort of cyberpunk thing that feels very removed. Also, because most of the media channels have a very different kind of agenda and take on Bitcoin, which is a complex thing to understand. So it's understandable. So right. So can you tell me a bit about like going back to the activities, because you seem to have a lot of ideas of what's going to be happening in these physical places.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so what we started with is like having a collage of different possibilities. Okay, so we want to have a coffee shop there, a cafe. You enter the space on the left side, you see a nice cafe, and then you want to buy a coffee, and then suddenly you realize, okay, what's that? Like you can pay with euros, but there's another price, a BTC price or a Satoshi price. And then you get the first introduction as a no-coiner, let's say, with this whole topic. You ask, like, okay, what's happening here? And there on the other side, you find a shop, which is by Janine from Satoshi's store. She's partnering with us for this, and she's selling her products like merch and everything. And one of the greatest thing I'm really happy that we got in touch with him is like Painting Bitcoin, who did the header for your webpage from Gazer Fund. He reached out to us, and then we met in real life. He said, "I'm not gonna tell you my name. I'm Painting Bitcoin." I'm like, okay. And then we sit there in the room for 2 months, for 2 hours, and then we created like a concept for the whole thing, and he's gonna design all the walls, basically the whole walls, and make an artwork. Maybe
everything's gonna be orange to pull everybody in.
Wow.
It's gonna be like transparent and pulling in. It shall be just nice to be there.
Exactly, and it's gonna be the biggest, maybe, and probably right now the biggest Bitcoin artwork ever. It's like more than 60 square foot of an artwork. Yeah.
And just a quick shout out to Painting Bitcoin, who they created the Geyser banner, and he's just really a self-made man. He just like he did with you, he just approached us with some ideas. Hey guys, check this out! I made this for you. And we're like, this is so cool. Thank you so much. And then we started using it, and we started jamming on different ideas, and then we came together with like his style, let the sats flow, which is a phrase that we came up with in Geyser together with some other people, including Paco from Run with Bitcoin. We came up with this idea of letting the sats flow. So with Painting Bitcoin, we ended up sort of jamming together, but he was the one who made that first kind of leap and kind of chatting with us, which is awesome. So never stop from just go ahead, reach out to people, provide value, and then value will be created in that sort of way. It's a beautiful thing. So that's so cool. This massive, gigantic pieces of art, Bitcoin related art. That's really impressive. So you mentioned
we're gonna have more there. We're gonna have live events like German speakers coming over, different topics, talking on different topics.
I mean, can I just make a suggestion right now, just because you guys are in freaking Munich, but I mean, there has to be a pub there has to be an Oktoberfest, like orange style Oktoberfest.
I mean, we are just. I mean, it's
Ah.
clear for the Munich people, right? It's clear for
Right.
the Munich people, but not clear for the other ones. But like the location is really like 2 steps away from the Oktoberfest area,
Oh my
and we
God,
got
that's amazing.
our kickoff event is gonna take place in the last days of the Frühlingsfest, which
Okay.
is the spring version of the
Right.
Oktoberfest.
Right.
And we know, like, I'm sure we get in touch with people who not right away, but in the long run of 2 to 3 years, we're gonna get in touch with. I think I'm really optimistic with the Oktoberfest people and sell them Bitcoin to use.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
we already have the Brezen hodler who is wearing a lederhosen. So yeah,
Wow.
it is local what we're
If you
doing
guys
here.
do an Oktoberfest conference, I'm coming. I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna drop it there.
Come now. Come to Bitcoin Block. Don't wait
Yeah.
for the next time.
Genesis.
Come
Oh
the
yeah,
first
oh yeah.
time.
I'm just
Take
saying,
the
I've
Genesis
always
block.
wanted to go. My wife speaks it's part German, so yeah, I'm definitely looking
Nice.
for a good opportunity to come.
Cool.
So
Sure.
Well, yeah,
You're
that's a big
welcome.
opportunity. Yeah, and also because you're interested in what problems do we solve, and I think
Right.
with this
I
event
think
we're
we didn't talk about everything what we're providing,
exactly
the live events, and
Right.
we want to do live podcasts.
Nice.
So
Nice.
everybody who's interested in doing a podcast there is welcome.
Wow.
Either Bitcoin topic or any other societal topic is good.
yeah, and
We
we have
want
the
to get in
equipment.
touch with
Yeah,
everybody.
and we have
Wow.
the equipment for it. Okay, so yeah.
Interesting. Wow. And look, I can tell you on Geyser, there are so many people selling things on Geyser that, there's this insane amount of paraphernalia, like memorabilia, craft work, artists that are increasingly want to provide value to Bitcoin and want to sell their craft, want to sell their things. So I'm sure there's opportunities for you guys to act almost like a store for Bitcoin goodies, and
Definitely.
because as Bitcoiners, we it's almost, I think, I forget who said this. It was that American philosopher, academic. I forget his name. I'm sorry about that. But he mentioned basically this idea that we're, as Bitcoiners, we understand how particular this moment in history is. We really believe that Bitcoin will be transforming the world, and so it's more than just owning Bitcoin. It's almost like it's more about being part of this thing that is happening, and how we feel part of it is by buying some of these goods, and almost like cherishing them as if you were going on a pilgrimage and buying religious memorabilia. It's almost like that. You want to feel part of the community, and you do that by buying and exchanging goods, right?
Yeah, and if we talk about memorabilia and collectibles, maybe somebody wants to see the hodler, because I got the prototype here with me.
You want
It's
to
the first one that came to life, and
Wow,
he is really
that's beautiful.
sweet. Yeah,
So
Lena
tell
made it
us tell
for.
us a little more about this. How
Yeah.
did you guys get in touch with Leah?
Yeah, so I met Lena for the first
Lena.
time on a event that was specifically made by women, mostly for women. It's called Les Femmes Orange, in the south of Germany, and she's been there, and she's really nice and kind. And I got in touch with her right after we met Marcel and talked about the project and what it's gonna be. And I called her and asked if she would be willing to make a specific hodler just for us for this occasion. And she created the Bavarian hodler for us. And the idea is the Brazen should symbolize the infinity through 21.
Million,
And
yeah.
there will only ever be 210 of those hodlers, and we
Wow.
got 21 who on top have our logo on the foot, and only those 21 will be shipped worldwide. Those
The,
the rest of them will be only purchased in the
The store.
physical Bitcoin block store. Yes.
That's amazing. That's super
Yeah.
cool. And I just noticed the B, the Bitcoin inside the
Yes.
wafer. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. He's
Beautiful.
sweet.
That's super cool. Awesome. So yeah, so
Yeah, she's
yeah.
helping us a lot. Lena.
uh,
She's doing great work here, and she she was just willing to give this hodler to us. She didn't purchase anything for her work. She is proof of work too. She
yeah.
saw the vision from the first call, and she had no question about it that this
wow,
is gonna be big.
wow,
Yeah.
Yeah,
amazing.
and I just see in the comments someone wrote like products bazaar, BTC art and products bazaar, and it's funny because when we were brainstorming, we were also thinking about BTC bazaar as a name maybe, but yeah, a lot of thoughts went into it, and that's definitely an option. But for now, we decided to focus on yeah, like the cafe and shop and event thing and education. Focus on education. I think the bazaar thing is definitely something, a concept, great idea. We should have that. Yeah, but
But that would
it's
be, yeah. We decided not to take Bazaar as a name because it put too much like it
Emphasis.
yeah, too much emphasis on trading. And we don't want to educate on trading. That's not the idea for pre-coiners and
That's a
yeah,
really good point. Yeah,
Bitcoiners.
that's a really good point. Right. So we talked a lot about the origin story, the problem. Did you want to add something to the problem that was trying to solve, or I think you've kind of gone quite deep there, I think. But
yeah, I mean, yes, that's something I wanted to mention before is also that we realized all of us actually we're mostly in touch with the English speaking Bitcoin space, and that's where we got our education from. And suddenly we're realizing, wait a minute, we have also a lot of German Bitcoiners, and we want to, and it's a fact. I really didn't believe that, but like many smart people who are open for Bitcoin don't get into it because there's this language barrier for them still. And I think that's what we can solve here as well, is to provide some German speaking high quality Bitcoin content. Yeah.
right. So I'm curious to hear more about, you mentioned the Bitcoin community in Germany. So you guys are based in Munich. You have perhaps different experiences of the city, but what is, and it's interesting to see, as the Bitcoin community kind of grows worldwide, to hear your thoughts on what is Munich like, because I do hear a lot of stories of Bitcoin, especially, and also Lightning things, a lot of Lightning kind of developers being in Germany. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Leah, you can start. Like, what's your thing?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think most nodes worldwide are in Germany. So we have a big tech community here. And it's funny, me and Patrick only got in touch with the German community when we started our podcast back in December. Before that, we only were like in the American Twitter Bitcoin space. That is where we got all our information and all learning and stuff. And in December, we went live with our German podcast to provide all this high quality information to the German speaking community. And that is when we realized there are actually already a lot of people out there.
Mhm.
And then we went to a Stammtisch, like a community meetup. And yeah, it is nice, but I can relate to what you earlier said, Marcel, that it's kind of it's not easy to get in there if you don't understand Bitcoin. It's
So very technical.
holding, yeah, it's technical, and it's those people who talk about Bitcoin. It's yeah. I would not just sit next to them without knowing anything about it.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, exactly. It's the missing the information gap, I think, which is really the problem, because as you can imagine, there are people who are there since 10 years, and then I don't know. It's I don't know. Maybe there's like, why should I like always ask, hey, do you know about Bitcoin, and then explain everything? So there naturally needs to be a certain level. It's not that it's wanted. It's also not that they're exclusive. They're really welcoming, but it's just, I don't know, like from the how do you say, like subtle communication. It's a bit like that. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't think a friend of mine would come to a meeting with me, but I think my friends are coming to the Bitcoin block thing
To a shopping mall,
to just
basically.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if they don't find it cool, then they at least
Go somewhere else.
can do chore like a grocery shopping or something.
Right.
Exactly.
It's no
Exactly.
lost time.
Exactly. And no one, like I asked so many people, also my friend circle, no one ever, like I told them about the Bitcoin meetups, no one asked, can I come, then I tell them, hey, there's a Bitcoin space in a shopping mall. Suddenly it becomes appealing.
Mhm.
I think, and that's the nice thing, we have like this open public space, which is so different than hey, let's grab a beer in the bar, although the bar can be also a public space, and it is a public space, but it's a different feeling. And for me, with the project, it got surprising, and it was interesting to realize that there are also a lot of Bitcoiners which never went to the Stammtisch, to the meetup. They never went there. So but now for this project, they're kind of feel activated. Also Thomas, who is helping us with a lot of legal questions, he's basically also like, I mean, he was there the first time at the meetup, also in December. He met Leah and Patrick, and
On our launch day.
Yeah, exactly, on the launch day. And yeah, and then that was the only contact. And then he came, and now he's helping us a lot. It's incredible. Also, like I also want to say, like, so many people finally find themselves being able to contribute to the Bitcoin space in a way they never had an opportunity before. And that's what's so great to see. We're giving, I don't know what exactly, like, or why or how, but apparently we're giving the possibility to so many people to contribute where they couldn't do it before. And I haven't analyzed it yet why it's like that, but it seems like it. Yeah.
That's really interesting, and it's almost like a project in itself. And I find that Bitcoin works a little bit like a fractal. So there were very, very simple crowdfunding platforms 4 years ago, but they just used Bitcoin, and they were sort of a little bit inaccessible. Now you Geyser is just a lot, basically built for 4 years after some of the other ones, and it's just a lot more more sophisticated, more tooling, lightning integration, more open to externals, to no coiners. And basically every 4 years we have these cycles, and they get and every cycle we sort of improve on the preceding tools, right? So for now we've had these informal meetups, and now maybe we need to take it to the next step, right? To approach more people, to be more part of the real world network. So I see you guys as almost providing that bridge from older iterations of meet space events, which are simple, informal meetups for mostly technical people, to actually providing experiences that are like just more, provide a lot more value, basically.
Exactly, and it's much more, you get in touch with them, really, and they get in touch with you. And we want to provide an experience which is not one-sided, but actually both-sided. So we're inviting no-coiners, pre-coiners, we're inviting them into this gigantic orange space which is just a thing for itself, and then they can film it, they can be impressed, and then they can start to ask, like, what about the no key, not your keys, not your coins there on the wall? Why is it written there, for example? And then you get to talk with them. And the cool thing is, like, really, I mean, we have so many, also in our concept, we have so many opportunities that people can get their first Bitcoins and first Satoshis. We will put them there. For example, a Bitcoin ATM, where we're gonna partner up with a Bitcoin buying app, and we also want to introduce a sets back concept. We want to put some lightning tip cards. So a lot of little, like a microeconomy we're creating in this space, and this microeconomy can speak for itself and can teach people in 5 minutes. Wow, I can pay something with Bitcoin and it's easy. And that's just this little thought. People don't know it, they think Bitcoin is complicated and scary and not usable, and suddenly you say, like, here, bam, it's faster than PayPal. And that's what we can already do with our MVP. If we do it simple, the whole thing, then this is still what we can do. And then we have the bigger step where we say, whoa, what if we can make it in the next 6 weeks to put all our efforts in it, and to orange pill at least some stores in the shopping mall, so the whole thing becomes an ecosystem. And that's like stuff we are talking with, like, Leah talked to the Guess guy, to the guys from the fashion brand Guess, and now we are almost like just one email away from the CEO of Guess, and who's accepted already Bitcoin in Lugano, and now we just need to help him to implement it in Germany with the regulations.
Yeah, let's see where we get there.
Maybe, yeah, let's see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope so. But like, so many stores are open for it, and I think if we were able to orange pill 3 stores,
we need the first movers here. We need 1 or 2 shops who are willing to accept it without going through all that hierarchy mess that is holding back everybody.
That's a good point.
We need somebody who says, yeah, okay, it's short term, let's see what it brings. And on top of that, we want to orange pill, like, or at least get some bars and restaurants to take Bitcoin at least during those 2 weeks. That would be so great. And then we have a list for the Bitcoiners who come in, who come from different cities or even different countries. And then we can tell them, okay, look, there's a list where you can buy your food and your drinks and whatever and hang out, basically. And there are already traveling groups building in Switzerland, as I heard.
It's insane. I mean,
it's really funny. It's really
for
traveling groups to come over to Bitcoin Block.
Wow. That's
so already, like, and we are like 2 days live, All
right, so tell me about the live. So you guys had a launch event and you guys are now live.
Yes.
That
we went live on Monday, and it was a lot of struggle, and we had to find our way, and we know we have the same vision and the same passion for Bitcoin here, but it's really hard to make decisions. And I think we are a really good team. All of us, we're working together. And on Monday, we finally went live. And it's exploding on the internet. We are really happy to see how many people are retweeting us, are posting, like, thanks for doing this, and are sharing our vision.
Exactly. We have like 60,000 views on the teaser trailer, which Patrick was filming, and that's insane. I mean, that's just like, wow, okay, what's happening here? And we have the website, which is in progress from the design part, but I mean, we have so many tasks to handle. So I hope people can forgive us for anything that looks not perfect, because we're really trying to build something here, and I think it's even impressive if we just make it happen, and we want to do more than that. And that's the whole point why we also aim for the crowdfunding here, to gather as much help as possible, also financially, to really make it a blast, the whole thing, and to preserve it for the people after us, to have a whole documentary to film it, like, and we're at a point, you know, like we worked our asses off for 2 months with 6 people in the closer team and 20 people around us who always helps for free, and slowly we come to a point where we need to have like predictability, and we get predictability with monetary help. You know, if we can say, hey, we're going to pay you for the flyer, then it's going to happen. And that's why the crowdfunding is a great way to help us to make it really working. And
if the crowdfunding is getting big enough, we are going to be able to fly people in. Actually, that would be so great. But that is not that is not the first thing we want to do. It's like optional if the crowdfunding is taking really off.
Yeah.
And what is a good sign? And I honestly didn't expect it that quick, but I think we can announce that the first 3 Genesis hodler all access passes are already sold. And I didn't expect them to be sold to German people, but they're staying in Germany. That's really cool.
Leah thought only Americans gonna jump on the hype train for these Bavarian merch things, you know. Oh, Bavaria, beer and pretzels, nice.
Yeah, I mean, look, 3 Genesis hodlers for, you know, $400 each.
No, 500.
Sorry, did I say 3? Yeah, 500. Yeah, I mean, that's 6 million satoshis. That's pretty good. I mean, the first week, that's impressive. So congrats, guys.
Thank you.
And keep it going. Keep up the hype. Keep showing the work you're doing, the work you're putting, and the impact you're having. But let me ask you, the hard question. So I mean, the crowdfunding is definitely picking up, doing great, and it's usually a really good sign. And it's a crowdfunding, guys. There's a really good way to just put something out there quickly and see if there is that community traction. You guys received 20 individual donations, sold 3 pretty valuable plushies. Amazing work. Now, what's next? Like, how are you planning to make this sustainable, and what are your strategies to work on the sustainability?
Yeah, I mean, so that's basically the whole thing why we're doing it. Is we realized after, I don't know, 20 iterations or 100 iterations, really, I don't know how often I was thinking about the question, how, like, what's the business model? That's how people say, what's the business model? And which just means exactly what you asked. So where do we get some income to pay off the costs to have this physical space for a long time? And we created some plans. Like, we said, okay, there's a coffee, we get money with that. There's a shop, we get money with that. There's the maybe sponsoring, we get money with that. But like, okay, and then, but what will work? We don't know, and we need to be honest here. And I struggled with that because I thought my idea is bad or something like that. But at some point I realized, okay, no, the idea is good, people love it, but we need to be honest here that no one ever did it. And it's not true in the world. I mean, we have, for example, in Prague, we have the Institute for Crypto Anarchy, which kind of created something like that. It's a bit different, but it's going in the direction. They're constant since 2013 or something. So I also met them and talked with them, and they said, yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. And they also helped, like, were able to do it with sponsoring and everything. But I just want to say, to conclude, like, how do we gonna make it sustainable? Well, by doing the 2 weeks, by making it happen, and then collecting all the information we have from that. We're gonna keep an eye on all of these factors, and then realize, okay, this is what people want. This is what people are maybe even willing to pay. And then we can wrap this up into a concept and then start to implement that somewhere else, where maybe less crowdfunding is necessary and less sponsoring is necessary, and it can really self-sustain. So we need to work here with this not knowing part, what I mentioned also in the beginning with philosophy. It's just, I think that's the best way to be honest here, and to say we need to try, and then we need to learn from that. Yeah,
absolutely. And having the community support you around the world, it's like this incredible boost, this nitro that Bitcoin makes possible, right? Because we're all in this together, whether you're in Nigeria, in Philippines, Italy, Germany, USA, we're all part of this community that wants to see Bitcoin come to life. And so having the community network coming together is a way to spread information of what is happening, but also spreading value towards initiatives that are adding value, like what you guys are doing. So it's a good kind of sort of security network, like as in safety net, I guess you could say, that helps you. But you definitely have to then figure out how to make this into more, like how to take it to the next step and how to how to make it sustainable. But I'm sure donation will always be an important element. But you have the opportunity to make into a business that, through what you mentioned, the coffee shop, the experiences and stuff. And that's super exciting, guys. So curious to hear your thoughts on so far, what's been most exciting? What has been like some insane like things that has that you didn't expect that happened?
I didn't expect to get in contact with so many people in such a short time. It's really a blast. It's so cool. Yeah, we had a talk with Jason Mayer and with Margot Payes and like a lot of people, and there are still so many people who we want to talk to and have a chat about how could they live stream their topic about Bitcoin. That's the most important part for me. And I think this is okay, the community that is building on the Bitcoin protocol. This is for me the most valuable second layer. It's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, and I had the honor, like I'm a random guy. I'm coming like out of Munich. No one knows me, and suddenly I'm after I don't know, like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I'm in the podcast of Daniel Prince, the Once Bitten podcast.
Amazing.
And there are Bitcoiners who are working since one or 2 years for like it's weird. I don't want to compare it now, but like it's just like it's crazy that like something like that seems, and that's the feedback we get. It seems so incredible and special that it keeps us motivated to go over the struggles. And I just want to mention to the English speaking community, if they haven't heard the Once Bitten podcast yet, we just negotiated for 2 weeks with the parent company of the center of the shopping mall to make it happen. They wanted to say no because they said it's Bitcoin, because it's something with weapons. We needed to negotiate, and it's like, and as I said, like I put all my work aside. I don't earn anything right now. It's a financial risk what I'm doing. And it's like, and also Leah and Patrick, they're also putting themselves in a similar situation. But I literally have no job right now, because I realized if I want to start it, I need to be fully committed. And now it's like we have a team, it's working better and stuff like that. But I just want to say, like, in this kind of situation, it's really challenging if the guy who gives you the space suddenly says, my bosses are not sure about it. I mean, imagine putting 1 month of 12-hour days, 1 month, 12-hour work days into it, and then maybe it's not working. I mean, cool that cool, nice, you have like nice team and everything, but maybe it's not working. And we overcame this, and we already did so much. And I just want to mention that.
I told him, hey, look, this is your chance to get that for free. Next time we do this, it's not for free anymore. And I think that this is true, actually, because I don't think this is the last time we do this. It's the Genesis block.
Yeah.
And next time, I think Amal comes to us and wants us to do this there, wherever.
Yeah. Right. And just to reiterate something that I thought was super interesting, like, a month ago, you guys were just, normal plebs, right? And then you decided to dedicate your you had this idea, right? And you put it out there, and it resonated with people. It's like a pinball, right? Just like moving everywhere, and it spins, and it sort of and to some person it like clicks, and it's like, holy shit, this is a great idea. Daniel Prince saw it and is like, I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna learn more what these guys are up to. So this is really about the power of valuable ideas, right? And also commitment and going out there and actually doing it, and how receptive the community is to these great ideas. So yeah, congrats. It must, it's never easy, but you guys are in the right path, and it's exciting to see how much traction it's already gotten from the community.
And
Yeah, and
I also, sorry, Leah, I just want to
Yeah, no.
mention that the now, after all the struggles with the company background and all that, but the center manager is really like, he helped us so much. Like, he's a
Wow.
guy who stand up in front of his bosses and committed himself to say like, hey, we need to try that, So I really want to say thank you to him as well, because he is gonna hear it at some point in his
We
life.
could
I
share
think.
him this podcast so you can listen to it. Thank you
Exactly,
very
no,
much.
but exactly, and I'm realizing he was really on our side and tried to make it happen, and he really helped us to make it happen. And now he's also saying, guys, if that's a success, we are really open to work with you for longer, and that's something great, So
Wow.
it's not like we're just going to do it 2 weeks and then we don't have the space anymore. No, if it's a success, then we have the chance to actually manifest our vision much faster than we expected. So that's something I also want to give your audience with, to tell them.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so happy that Marcel is like the one who's pulling the strings here and who's keeping all this together. And we have a beautiful team. Everybody is doing what he can or she can, and it's a nice community, and everybody is welcome to join our team. It's not like we're a closed team and
No,
you're
we
not
need
allowed
help.
to come. No,
we
we want
yeah.
everybody who shares our vision can just step in and help
So
us.
so you mentioned you need help. So this is a chance for you to reach out to,
Yes.
what do you need help with? Do people need to be in Munich, and they help from other places? How can people get involved?
I mean, for now, it's really, I think, a lot about like, so the first of all, the crowdfunding, share it and tell people about the project. That's a big step for people who don't have a lot of time. But then we have also things where we need time, and I mean, of course, it makes more sense probably to have German speaking people here. But also, I mean, our web designer who helps us is from Australia, and he lives in El Salvador. Like, so it's not impossible. We are having people here who are helping us like that. And what we need help with is actually really like different topics, like design is a thing. I mean, we reached out to a lot of people, but I'm just putting it out there. Okay, maybe we find someone. So design is a thing. We need someone who comes up maybe with workshop ideas. If they are interested, they can give a workshop. We are really happy to have also international podcast guests there. So if someone can afford to come and have a Bitcoin podcast or something related to that, we're really happy to give them our equipment, because we're going to have a podcast station, and then they can join. And also, of course, we are in talks with Andrew Bailey, for example, and Margot Pace to do a live stream and to invite them as a speaker, as a guest speaker, for a short live stream talk. So if someone there knows English speaking Bitcoiner who has something great to say, let us know. And that's all. Like, I think that's the topics which are in my
And
mind right now. And Leah can
and
please, like,
we still need somebody who's running the cafe.
Mm.
That would be great if somebody says, yeah, I already know how to take Bitcoin. I'm curious to do this. Please get in contact with us.
Awesome.
yeah,
Amazing.
exactly. So
Cool, guys. I mean, is there something? I'm curious to hear about what's next for you. What plans you have? What's your plan for the next few months? Yeah, I'd love to know.
what do you mean, like until the event or afterwards?
When does the event end?
the event does it's for 2 weeks and 3 weekends. And
Okay.
we're gonna start with the Frühlingsfest at the 5th of May, and we're gonna end at the 20th of May, which is during the time where the Bitcoin Miami conference will take place. And we were thinking about doing a live stream thing there,
nice.
a public viewing thing.
That's cool.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
Germans love
timeline.
this.
Yeah.
Germans love public viewing.
Have you guys been in touch with the Bitcoin magazine team?
Not yet.
Yeah, I can try to intro you guys if you want, and I'm sure they'll be happy to.
We will have one of their authors to
Oh,
he's a German living in
Leon.
Berlin, and he's gonna come over as a speaker.
Cool.
But yeah, that's a good idea.
It would be great if Bitcoin magazines with an S, like more magazines could write about our project. I mean, that would be amazing to get
That
the
would
word
be
out.
Of course,
great.
there's Leon, right? Leon from Bitcoin News, who's German.
Yeah, Leon Wankum.
Yeah.
He's gonna speak there.
He is a great
one.
guy. He's
yeah.
putting us in contact with a lot of people.
Awesome.
He is great.
Absolutely, yeah, great guy.
And I just want to do a shout out for Tour de Mester. I met him at the Amsterdam conference and talked with him. Yeah, I talked with him about he's also interested in philosophy, which was a match kind of, and we talked about Aristotle a little bit. And then at some point I was a bit shy, but then I also shared him this idea with the center, and then I told him but the guys want to do a crypto space, and I don't know. Being here in Amsterdam, I realized no one wants to come to a crypto space from the Bitcoin community, and then he gave me such a great advice to really stick to the vision and not every time do compromise. Just do your thing, and the chances are not gonna go away. And I found it really interesting that this turned out to be true, and yeah, I didn't even need to change the location. That's a crazy thing.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, I found the same. Quite a few projects start on Geyser, sort of maybe a bit Bitcoin, a bit kind of crypto, and what we found is that if you kind of go with Bitcoin only, it propels you so much more. It doesn't dilute the message. It's about those principles. It's about integrity. And often the crypto side ends up being, it's like, oh, but we can make money with that. But it compromises your vision. It compromises your mission. And so I think it makes sense to focus on this. Yeah, totally. I agree. Yeah, it's interesting to see that also empirically, on your platform, because I mean, people, you can say that, but no one can prove it in a way. It's just like talk. But now with the platform, you have kind of data to show, which is great. Absolutely. So guys, it's been a good hour. Do you have any other things that you want to mention that you think are is important, or things we might be valuable to mention that we missed? It's the first live stream for Geyser. It's the first live stream for Geyser. We've had it's impressive because the numbers are a lot higher than just podcast views. We had 1,385 views. Really rare. Which is not bad. That's cool. Yeah, so didn't know that. I felt like one person. I felt like one person's watching the guy. Yeah, the person who's commenting.
Feels like that's funny.
No, it's from Twitter, mainly from Twitter. I think this number here shows the YouTube, but not the Twitter. And most people are watching from Twitter, it seems. Now we have 4 live viewers on Twitter. Hey everyone. But yeah, guys, this has been a pleasure. Thank you for being my guinea pigs for testing this out. Of course, and can
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Can you also please tell us the right pronunciation for your platform's name?
Yeah, it's a hard one because in American English it's Geyser. In English, British English, it's Geyser.
Okay.
Both are correct. Whatever you say.
I'll go with Geyser.
Geyser, all right. We had some troubles with that because I tend to say then Geyser, and I think that's not right, so. Yeah, Geyser is, I think, Geyser. All right. Yeah, well, guys, so good to have you on Geyser. I'm so excited to see you guys, take off. Curious to want to see more of that. Let's keep things going,
And yeah,
Let
it's
me
been a
take a
pleasure.
picture of the three
Yeah,
of us.
exactly.
Thank you.
But yeah, do you want to maybe tell us a bit about where people can find you? Some last final words. Obviously, geyser.fund /projects
All the
slash
links are interconnected. You like we have
right.
Twitter, website, Geyser, and some Instagram because we said like why not Instagram? So these are the 4 platforms.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And keep an eye out for the event tickets. Keep an eye out for that. That's definitely coming. That's maybe something people should not forget. And that's all. That's all from my side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have nothing else to say.
Fantastic.
It's been a
Leah,
pleasure.
yeah,
Thank
Leah,
you.
Marcel, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Let's end it
Nice.
here.
All right.
right.